Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and with me, as always, is Mike Honcho. We are doing our college football week 2 preview of 2016. The reason why I'm kind of somewhat laughing is because of what Mike said for one on the air. We're not even going to get into that because it's part of our sign idea, which is going to be great.
It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be amazing. Okay. If you're at Cajun Field tomorrow and you see a sign that has somewhat that's going to be really funny, but it's so simple that I don't think nobody even mentioned it on Twitter at all. And I'm kind of disappointed in everybody that did not mention this on Twitter because it's so great. Like, it's so simple, but it's so great at the same time.
Oh, man.
It's such a simple idea. But anyway, back to talking about college football here. We have a slew of games this week. No real marquee matchups. If you want to talk about, like, ranked teams going against each other.
Okay, about to say, we got an Arkansas TCU matchup that's going to be pretty intense.
Yeah, and that is our game of the week that we're going to have to pick. That's what I got designated. But Arkansas isn't ranked. So, I mean, and you got Tennessee playing Virginia Tech at Bristol.
That's Bristol, baby.
Yeah, that's a very interesting game we got going on this week. My question is, they got the field inside the infield of Bristol, and we've done NASCAR previews and stuff, and I'm wondering, as a fan sitting in the stands, how can you see the game, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty tough, but I think they're going to see it pretty well. There's probably some bad seats in there, but I mean, I think it's going to be just fine.
And Bristol probably, it holds more than any college football stadium in the country. That's one thing. I think it sits like 160,000, if I remember right.
Uh-huh.
Bristol's a really intense place. Like the driver said, they can hear over their engines the crowd. Could you imagine a college football game?
Yeah, really.
Like, if you had that place filled up with just people just cheering, it will be so loud in there. It'll probably be the loudest game in college football history. I mean, it probably won't be as loud as the, like, engines going on at the same time that place is heard, but, I mean, as far as people, decibels with people screaming and stuff, it'll probably be one of the loudest games, probably louder than, like, Seattle's field and stuff like that, but you can manipulate a stadium to make it louder than it normally is. That's all with the new scheme of things and stuff like that. All right, Mike, if you had to pick 3 games, okay, before I go even make you pick 3 games that you're excited to see, I got to address something here on the Fishbowl Radio. There's a rivalry game going on this week. It's a real old rivalry. It hasn't been played in, like, last 30 years, except maybe twice.
30 years.
Yeah. UL versus McNeese is going to be played this weekend. It's Saturday at Cajun Field. And we got a little treat for everybody that's listening here live here on the Fishbowl Radio. We are going to be reading some tweets from, like, students and stuff for this game. And, I mean, I've been involved in this as well. I've been tweeting back because, you know, I go to UL and stuff like that. It's been kind of a fun little banter between rivalries because I haven't seen a real rivalry game that UL has participated in quite like this.
Yeah, because even Monroe, somebody we play every year. They ain't even this much of a rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. I mean, McNeese has put a lot of stock into this game because McNeese, from what we see here, their university's been really promoting this game very much so.
Yeah, no, McNeese is promoting this as a rival game, and UL's not even promoting it as a rival game.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about it.
I was reading an article by Jay Walker of ESPN 1420 how he was talking about for Cajun fans, they just don't want to lose this. Besides, if they win, they're just going to be like, oh, we'll find out them next week.
Yeah.
But if McNeese wins, we're not going to hear about the end of it till the next time they play.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing with it. And if UL even comes close to losing, we're going to be asking for more Cuthbert's head. That's the why, because, I mean, you shouldn't lose to an FCS school if you're an FBS. That's the whole thing.
Not only that, you shouldn't lose to McNeese. It's kind of like an LSU Arkansas type thing. They're not as big as Bama is, but they're a big rival. And if you can't beat them, then it's kind of a...
Yeah, it's like, it hurts because it's like, oh, them guys, they got us again. Or, it's like that kind of thing there. I think UL's biggest rival, if I had to pick anybody, would be UL Monroe. But it don't feel like it's the biggest rival. But this one feels like it's been.
Well, this one's a lot closer. This one's only about an hour or so away.
Yeah, I'm surprised that UL hasn't played McNeese in more recent time than it's been 10 years since the last game. McNeese ended up winning in 2007. They were ranked at the time in the FCS poll here, but they are ranked again. They're ranked number 11. They beat, I think, Division III football team Trinity Wood or something like that. Which, if you're comparing Boise State and Trinity Wood, there's really not much to compare between those two teams, as far as who's going to have a strategic advantage in that game. But we'll give our thoughts on the game whenever it comes up in our discussion here later on in this episode. But let's start picking the big games, the top 25 this week, okay? People are going to be keeping a close eye on. All right, let's kick it off. Number 25, Miami versus FAU, Florida Atlantic, baby. Mike?
I hope FAU wins it, but Miami's going to come away with a win.
Yeah, I got Miami winning this one as well. Mark Rick has done a good job here. Miami they won their first game. Pretty good, I guess you could say. FAU's got a quarterback by the name of Jason Driscoll. I don't know if that's is that Driscoll's brother?
I don't know if they have any relation.
I don't know. I haven't really looked into it that much here. I think Miami's going to win this game, though. I'd say 21 points, 28. I think they'll cover Vegas, though, whatever Vegas got. Yeah, I think it's 20. Okay, it's 24.5 Vegas got on Miami and Florida.
Yeah, so I got that. I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that, too. Oregon versus Virginia, Mike.
Virginia lost to Richmond last week. I mean, they didn't just lose. They got stomped by Richmond. I got Oregon winning this one.
If Oregon, they haven't been the same team since the playoff. They last year they struggled. I mean, they're at 24 right now, and you're kind of used to seeing Oregon up there in the top 10 ever since Chip Kelly left. And this is something I'm going to make a reference to in a team that's 3 ranks down. Ever since Chip Kelly left, Oregon hasn't been the same football program. They're not as strong as they used to be, competing for national titles and stuff. So I got Oregon winning this game over Virginia because, Virginia lost to Richmond. I mean, they didn't just lose, like you said, Mike. They got destroyed. So
if I'm not mistaken, Richmond had like a 1-10 season the year before that in the FCS.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. I got Oregon winning this one, though. Me and Mike both. All right, number 23, Baylor versus SMU, Mike.
I got Baylor winning this one. They won last week. I believe they're going to win again this week.
Yeah, Baylor kind of ran over Northwestern State last week. It wasn't really much of a competition. Brooks Hack, yeah, the UL transfer that went to Northwestern. I think scored maybe 7 points. But I got Baylor winning this one. Seth Russell for Baylor has been pretty good to them, They've been having a really good year so far, Baylor. They're 1-0. I mean, if they can keep it on the tracks here, it'd be all right. I mean, he's done a good job. He was 14 for 20 for 163 yards and 4 touchdowns, which is kind of strange because you know what that tells me? Usually the field position probably was on Northwestern State's side a lot.
Yeah.
And Xavier Jones for SMU, he had 11 carries for 115 yards in their win last week and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton had 4 catches for 162 yards and 3 touchdowns for SMU. So SMU's got a pretty good passing game, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Baylor's going to get the job done. Number 22, Oklahoma State versus Central Michigan.
I got Oklahoma State. They beat Southeastern pretty good. Central Michigan's pretty decent, but I got Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I got Oklahoma State winning this one too. I don't think, they had to win over Southeastern last week. Central Michigan, I don't think they're going to have enough to pull this off. They got Cooper Rush at quarterback, Devon Spalding at running back, but I don't think they have enough to win this game. Give me Oklahoma State. I think they'll win by 28 points. And now, here's the team that I was alluding to. about a potential head coaching change. And also something that this has been beat to death by the media, but we got to bring it up, that offensive lineman who literally laid that dude out at the end of the LSU-Wisconsin game. Butte, I think his name is.
I forgot his name.
Actually, one of my coworkers at where I work at know the guy personally. And he says that, according to this person, he's been loving the media attention lately. Kind of makes me wonder about Colin Kaepernick. You know? Some people want to get their name out there in the news and just hear it all the time. You know, it's kind of interesting to see them have that way. But, you know, he's been suspended for Jacksonville State. But this game here is a game that LSU probably shouldn't take too lightly, really and truly. You know, they lost to Wisconsin. Brandon Harris looked awful. Leonard Fournette, he did decent, got over 100
And
yards.
this Miles thought that Brandon Harris did pretty good. He just had a couple bad opportunities, and I'm sitting there watching the game like, no, Brandon Harris just really was bad.
No, Brandon Harris is terrible. Let's just straight up say it. He's not the quarterback LSU needs to compete for a national championship, and they're probably not going to compete one this year.
No, I mean, and I had one person on this show, I'm not going to name names, because that's just funny cool to name somebody's name when the show thought LSU was going to defeat it, and they go lose to Wisconsin, a team that they should have ran over, according to ESPN and all that, and they lose. I mean, it's kind of...
I told this person in the preseason that LSU was going to lose 3 games this year. I might get them losing more than what I even said. I said worst case scenario, they can probably lose 3 games. Best case scenario, they'll probably go undefeated.
Yeah,
That's anybody's best case scenario,
though.
though.
It's a good team, but if Wisconsin's defense can stop Leonard Fournette, then imagine what teams like Ole Miss, Alabama, and all those schools, imagine what they can do to LSU.
If they don't, look, if LSU cannot develop Brandon Harris to be a quarterback for their team, which they had all summer to do this is not something that's going to be fixed in a week. They literally got to do this. LSU is going to have a bad season this year if they don't do something, because it either change the play calling, either do something different, maybe go to a different kind of Brandon Harris is not a pocket quarterback. He can't run a pro-style offense. He's more suited for a spread offense if anything else. It doesn't make any sense for him to be running a pro-style offense anyway. Okay, Michael, you got winning this game.
I got LSU winning this one, but like you said, I mean, they're probably going to beat Jacksonville State pretty good if Fournette's healthy, and they got him good. They won't have to worry about having Brandon Harris, but Jacksonville State got a pretty good offense. But I still got LSU winning this one pretty big.
Look, this is going to come as a shock to everybody on this radio show here that's listening to me right now. I've been looking at Jacksonville State's roster, and I've been looking at everybody that's been coming from their team. They have a lot. I'm talking like a lot of SEC transfers on this football team. Now, will they equal to the same amount as they played Auburn last year, Jacksonville State? Y'all remember that game? Y'all remember that game, Mike?
Uh-huh.
LSU might be having an Auburn kind of year. If they played that bad against Wisconsin, they lost. They only scored 14 points. Their defense can't keep bailing them out. Jacksonville State's got a really good offense.
And that's the thing. Wisconsin has like a pretty decent offense, but their quarterback, it was their first time starting. He never played a college snap in his life, and he did a pretty good job against LSU secondary. That's supposed to be the almighty best one in the country. You
know what? I'm going for it. Jacksonville State's going to upset LSU in week 2 in college football. Jacksonville State, my dark horse pick. My dark horse pick for this week. You want to pull an upset, you go for an FCS school over an FBS school. And Les Miles gets fired if they do it.
Oh, no, Jacksonville State wins. I guarantee you. If he's not fired, then he'll be fired by the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm going with Jacksonville State. That's my upset pick. All right, next game. Number 20, Texas A&M versus Prairie View A&M.
This is my upset, not. I got Texas A&M winning this one.
Trevor Knight played pretty good for Texas A&M. I mean, Trayvon Williams for Texas A&M ran the ball really good, 15 carries for 94 yards. Josh Reynolds for Texas A&M. Texas A&M ended up beating UCLA last week. UCLA is not even ranked this week, which is why we're not picking their game, because they're not ranked. But I don't think they're not ranked because I didn't see them come up. I got 7 and 12. That's different. What was UCLA ranked last week, Mike?
I think they were ranked like in the late 20s. So
I think it was something like that. And I picked Texas A&M to win that game, and I was able to call that upset right. But give me Texas A&M to win this game over Prairie View A&M. Number 19, Ole Miss and Chad Kelly versus Wofford. Chad Kelly, the greatest quarterback in college football today, self-proclaimed by himself, went down to Florida State and they lost. They gave away a big deficit. They were beating Florida State pretty good, but they ended up giving it away. Mike, what you think?
who's Ole Miss playing?
Ole Miss, Wofford.
Yeah, I got Ole Miss winning this game. Even though they lost to Florida State, Florida State's a good team and all that. I believe Ole Miss should have won that game. They didn't, but I got Ole Miss beat Wofford.
I thought Ole Miss should have won that game as well. They were beating them pretty bad. Then halftime adjustments for Florida State proved to be. They got something with halftime adjustments. Florida State. They seem to always come out and do better in the second half usually when they get in big games, from what I noticed. But I got Ole Miss beating Wofford. I don't think it's gonna be close, but we'll see. We will see. Number 18, Notre Dame versus Nevada. Mike?
Notre Dame lost a good game last week. I told everybody that it was going to be a good game. I thought Notre Dame was going to possibly win this one. They didn't. I think Notre Dame beats Nevada, though.
I got Notre Dame and Deshaun Kaiser. They got a 2-quarterback system. I watched the game against Texas. It was a very good game. Both teams, they both played well enough to win the game. Ain't nothing wrong with Notre Dame. They just, toward the end of the game, they just ran out of gas, and they broke. Defense broke containment, but got Notre Dame winning over Nevada. They got the 2-quarterback system. How long can they make it work? I think they'll make it work pretty well. Deshaun Kaiser, they both did well, but I got Notre Dame winning this game over Nevada. Number 17, it's Bristol, baby. Tennessee versus Virginia Tech, Mike.
After last week, Tennessee isn't really as good as I thought they were, or they just weren't prepared. I don't think that's going to be the case this week. I think Tennessee wins this one, but if Tennessee steps up like they did last week, they're not going to really compete that well in the SEC this year.
Okay. I got who you got? Tennessee, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Tennessee needs to straighten up their game. They played really horribly against Appalachian State. Yep. And they need to come out better. I think Tennessee's better than what they played. I'm not going to throw them underneath the bus for one game. It's hard to judge teams in week 1 because you have only 1 week of play. No one's really kind of settled into rhythm or anything else like that. So you got to wait for everybody else to get involved and get more, kind of more. How would you say? Used to everything, But I got Tennessee beating Virginia Tech, though, at the end of the day. Iowa State takes on number 16, Iowa. Mike?
I got Iowa winning this one. Iowa won last week pretty convincingly. I got them winning again this week.
I got Iowa beating Iowa State as well. Give me Iowa. We're going to skip 15 in that game because it's game of the week. But number 14, Oklahoma versus UL Most or UL Monroe.
Last week, and I apologize to Houston and the Houston fans. I didn't think Houston was going to be as good as they were. Houston really went out there and beat Oklahoma pretty bad. I was not expecting that kind of a loss. But I got Oklahoma win this one. It's against Monroe, a team that not almost, but almost kind of, I guess you could say, lost to Southern.
Yeah.
So I got Oklahoma winning this one.
Yeah, I got Oklahoma winning this one too. I picked Oklahoma last week. I also apologize to Houston, but I thought Houston was going to have a really good year anyway. I didn't know. I said if they could beat Oklahoma, they'll have a pretty good. I think the next game they got us a big marquee matchup for them is Louisville, and Greg Ward Jr. looked good in that game. He's going to be a Heisman candidate this year. Houston's definitely a playoff team if we're going to base it off week 1, but give me Oklahoma beating UL Monroe. Next game, the team that I alluded to, number 13, Louisville versus Syracuse. Mike?
That game's
Yeah, I got Louisville winning it too. I don't think Syracuse is gonna have enough to pull it off. Lamar Jackson for Louisville has been pretty good for them. 11 carries, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns in his first outing. And let me see when they play. I think when they play Houston. Let's see. I think they play. Yeah, they play Houston November 17th. That's their next. So Houston's got all the time in the world to prepare for Louisville. In between, but don't be peeking too far ahead because you never know what's going to happen. But I got Louisville beating Syracuse. And one of my favorite teams I'm kind of cheering for here this year, if I'm going to bandwagon a team, I'm going to bandwagon this one. Number 11, Texas versus UTEP. Mike?
I'm already a fan of Texas. I'm not going to say they're back to their good old days just yet. I got to see a couple more games, but I got to beat UTEP this week.
Yeah, I got Texas winning this one too. I tell you what, I was really impressed with Texas's freshman quarterback Shane Buechele. I think that's how you say it, Buechele.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to pronounce. Yeah, like I said, I was impressed with how good they were last week. I wasn't expecting a close game. Don't get me wrong, but I just wasn't expecting Texas to actually pull it off. And I said they're showing signs that they might be getting good, but until I actually see more games, I can't say that. Unfortunately, I don't think this week is
it's a good
to test that out.
Yeah.
It's still a good win if they win.
Yeah. Every game the Texas plays with a freshman quarterback's better. They might have seen the highs of highs with him, but you got to see the lows of lows to see how bad he really is or good. You know. I mean, you got to kind of see both flips of the coin, but I think Texas will win this game over UTEP. Texas, they got 30 points on Texas. Winning it, I don't know if I'll go ahead and give them 30, but Texas's defense did pretty good against Notre Dame. They played really well, Texas' defense. They might be a team that might get in that playoff.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
I don't see why not.
I mean, they got a solid team from what I've seen from week one. But I mean, it depends on what's going to happen next. I'm not going to say they're going to be a playoff team right now. Give me till week 4, or when we do our week 4 predictions, and I can kind of see who's actually going to be a team that's going to look really good and whatnot. But right now, Texas is kind of looking pretty good on my radar. So, yeah, I got Texas winning that one. And the team that beat LSU last week, number 10, Wisconsin, is going to take on Akron. Mike?
Give me Wisconsin win this one. Coming off a win against LSU, I think they're going to carry that momentum and beat Akron.
Yeah, same here. I think Wisconsin's going to be able to handle it. They go home this week. Give me Wisconsin beating Akron. Number 9, Georgia versus Nicholls State.
Georgia.
Yeah, not going to be much talk about this one. Nicholls ain't... Nick Chubb ran wild last week. 32 carries for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns.
About to be unleashed again.
And, yeah, he should be able to duplicate that again. Give me Georgia. Okay. Number 8, Washington versus Idaho.
Give me Washington. Idaho, they beat Montana State last week. That's not saying much, but I got Washington.
I'm going to go with Washington as well in this game because Washington, they really haven't been challenged yet. I would like to see more marquee matches, which we will get them. Jake Browning did pretty good last week, threw for 3 touchdowns. Aaron Duckworth for Idaho ran for 2 touchdowns, but Idaho is one of the few Sun Belt teams that actually got a win last week.
Yes, the teams that got a win last week were pretty big wins.
Yeah, South Alabama upsetting Mississippi State. Yeah.
Then the Texas State-Ohio game was crazy, folks. If y'all didn't watch that game, y'all missed out. It was beyond crazy. I was like, man, this game, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And Idaho beat Montana State, which that was the sad win, but that's about it.
Yeah, I got Washington beating Idaho. Don't think that much of it. Number 6, Houston versus Lamar. Mike, who you got?
I got Houston winning this one pretty easily. If they beat Oklahoma like they did, I kept my mind what they're about to do to Lamar.
Okay, I got Houston winning this one as well. Greg Ward Jr., I got him already on my Heisman list if we're already going to start one of them for this season. 2 touchdowns, 23 for 40. About around 50% completion rate. But, it was against Oklahoma, so 321 yards Stephen Dunbar did pretty good on receiving side. Got 7 catches for 125 yards. I think they'll walk all over Lamar. Give me Houston. Number 5, Michigan versus UCF in Ann Arbor.
Well, last week I think me and Chief picked the spread and we didn't think it was going to be that bad. Well, it was bad because Michigan beat Hawaii like there's no tomorrow. I got Michigan win this one.
Okay.
Not as bad as they beat Hawaii, but I got them winning.
Okay, what do you think the spread this week? 35.5 points given to UCF?
I got it.
You got it? Yeah, I'm going to go with that too. Chris Evans, the running back for Michigan, not the actor. 8 characters for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. I got Michigan winning this game pretty handily. Go Big Blue. Okay. Number 4, Ohio State versus Tulsa, Mike.
Give me Ohio State win this one.
Yeah, I think Ohio State better win this one as well. I don't think it's going to be much of a competition with Tulsa, but Ohio State won their game pretty handily too, if I remember right.
Oh, yeah, they beat Toledo. No, not Toledo.
Oh, who you got? Wait, who did they? Okay, I can pull that up real quick and see. But yeah.
Bowling Green.
Oh, yeah, it was Bowling Green. Okay, yep, you got it. Okay, moving on now. Number 3, Florida State versus Charleston Southern. Now, there's a big headline with this game. Charleston Southern. You want to tell it, Mike?
Well, I don't know it fully because I didn't have time to read the article, but I saw like the headline and I'm like, wow.
Okay, half of Charleston Southern's team's not going to be playing in this game. Due to the NCAA, I think it was violations, if I remember right. Let me give you a full description of it here. Yeah, that's the big. They suspend 14 players, 32. Let's see. That a number. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Under NCAA rules, students athletes may purchase books and school supplies with financial aid provided them to purchase books. Cannot be covered by that financial aid. CSU has continued to internal review of possible NCAA rules violation within the athletics program. The university is working with the NCAA, the Big South Conference, and an outside consultant during the process. So yeah, they have a full travel squad making the trip, but 14 players this week are out. But 32 football players must serve a 1-game suspension. 16 have already did their 1-game suspension. So, yeah, that's basically what's going on this week here. We have Charleston Southern basically having a lot of their team not going to be playing in the Florida State game. Who you got, Mike?
I got Florida State win this one pretty easily, especially since Charleston Southern ain't going to have half their team.
Yeah, I got Florida State winning this one. Number 2, Clemson versus the Sun Belt team, Troy. Mike?
Well, Sun Belt team off upset last week. Sun Belt team off upset this week. Give me Troy over Clemson.
Whoa, here we go.
I'm starting to trend. Until I'm proven wrong, which I'll probably get proven wrong with this pick right here where I'm at. So I'm going to let y'all know right now that I'm sorry that I picked this game wrong. But I'm picking Troy to pull off the upset. South Alabama did against Mississippi State last week. Give me Troy this week.
Okay, okay, that's a pretty good pick, I guess you could say. Don't think it's gonna happen, but give me Clemson to beat Troy.
I don't think. I'm pretty sure Clemson's gonna run full steam over Troy. I'm pretty sure it's not even gonna be a contest from when they hike the ball. But until I get proven wrong, which will probably be whatever time this game starts, I'm picking Troy to win this one.
You jumping on the upset bandwagon because 3 top 10 teams lost last week. So there's been a lot of shaking up in the polls this week. Like there should be. I mean, give me a Clemson though winning over Troy. All right, number 1 Alabama versus Western Kentucky.
Who might make another? Nope. I picked Alabama to win the national championship this year, and after seeing what they did to USC, I don't think I have to worry about my prediction being wrong. I got Alabama win this one.
Yeah, Alabama. at first quarter, I was like, yeah, Alabama's kind of having a little bit of a difficulty here. Then in the second quarter, after the first, I was like, yeah, Alabama's got this. Alabama's freshman quarterback played really well in this game. Yeah, give me Alabama against Western Kentucky. I don't think the Hilltoppers got it this game. All right, game of the week. Number 15, TCU versus Arkansas, Mike.
Well, I was watching Arkansas last week against La Tech. They put off a close one. I got another upset, so I'm going to pull Arkansas with this one. I think Arkansas catches their head and all that. I don't think TCU's not enough to pull it up to win, but I got Arkansas win this one in an upset.
If I'm not mistaken, last week TCU had a little bit of a kind of a tough game against. I think it was the Jackrabbits last week they played.
South Dakota State.
Yeah, South Dakota State. They 59-41. They won that game. Kenny Hill had 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in that game. He's definitely playing against a better team here. I think Louisiana Tech's a better team than the South Dakota State. Yeah, the Jackrabbits. But yeah. Let's see here. I got Arkansas pulling the upset over TCU this week. Give me the Razorbacks of Arkansas. So yeah, I got Arkansas winning this game, winning their game over TCU, and my other upset is Jacksonville State over LSU. It probably won't happen. But let's see. It would be intense if that Jacksonville State upset would happen.
No, I think the more intense one would be if Troy was to pull off an upset.
Yeah, it would be. They both be intense situations. Not even close. Not even close. But yeah. All right, everybody's favorite moment. Okay. We're going to be reading tweets after we pick this game here. It's already starting. It's already starting. Okay. UL Lafayette versus McNeese.
Big nasty state Cowboys.
McNeese State Cowboys. Mike, who you got?
Last week I was a foolish pick, and I knew it was. I just can't pick against them, which I probably would end up picking against them one or 2 times this year. So I picked UL to win. Kind of going in there and knew they were going to lose. Didn't know they would lose that bad. Although McNeese is an FCS school, they're not really that far from being an actual FBS school as far as talent-wise. I was listening to a radio show going to school one day, and most of McNeese's team is full of SEC transfers. They have one from Texas A&M who was an NFL prospect who got into some trouble. Their quarterback is a transfer from Arkansas State. So they have pretty good talent on their team. But I just think that maybe UL goes with a chip on their shoulder after getting beat as bad as they did last week. I think they might improve. I got them winning, but I don't think it's being a blowout like it should be against FCS school. I think it's going to be a real competitive game, and UL's going to just embarrass the boy.
All right, that's a very modest pick there. UL Lafayette fired their defensive coordinator Melvin Smith this week due to that, but that should have been done last year at the end of last year because that defense was terrible. I guess Coach Hudd, I think he had warned him before the game was even started that he was going to get fired.
Well, I mean,
I don't know why.
They lose to Boise State like they're supposed to. I mean, we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Everything's pointing against UL losing to Boise State, but to give up over 500 something yards to Boise State, because UL may be a Sun Belt team, but we're supposed to be a pretty decent team.
Yeah.
To give as many yards they did and to not play defense like they did, it was time for somebody to go.
Yeah, we just got out. Boise State just had better athletes than UL in that game. But that's
I'm
just
not going to ever deny that.
it was so obvious. It was such an obvious thing that anybody watching that game should have easily been able to see that. And I was seeing people like, oh, we could have did this and better than this. No, we couldn't have done that because we didn't have the athletes to compete with them. They were just jumping like 2 feet higher than our defensive backs was able to even get up in the air. There are sometimes on defensive back where I didn't even have his head turned back around to even get the ball.
Yeah, no, they have better athletes, so I couldn't deny
Yeah.
that after the first drive, Boise State had the football, which was the first drive they had, I'm like, yeah, y'all don't lost this game.
It all depends on that first drive. You have to set the tempo. That first drive of that game is real important. So you set the tempo, how it's going to go. I thought Anthony Jennings played well in the game for what was going on.
He played well enough for what he was given.
Yeah, he was under a pass rush like every snap. I swear our offensive line needs to block better if they're going to even have a chance at beating anybody this year.
Offensive line gets good. UL could be dangerous because apparently we don't know how to run anything but the screenplay.
Yeah.
So if we get a good offensive line, our screenplay is going to be fantastic and we'll run over everybody. But
Jennings, I think, missed a couple of open wide receivers. Me and Mike was firsthand to see that happen.
Yeah, we were there the whole game to see it happen.
But I think Jennings was kind of pressed because he was like, well, I don't have a line to block for me at all. So, I mean, I guess you can kind of overlook things like that because you don't have a line blocking for you. You got to have at least 3 seconds if you're all quarterback to get the ball and you're operating on the shotgun. So give yourself like another 2 seconds, to find the open guy. But I think UL is going to win this game. I don't think McNeese does have some talent. They're ranked number 11 in the FCS poll, so we've been looking at some of these guys on this team here. I think UL is going to win by 14 points. If I had to pick 14, 21 points, it depends. It depends on what my expectation shows up of UL this year. My expectation has them winning by 14 points. Because, McNeese probably could play in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, no, McNeese is a good enough school to play in the Sun Belt. They're just not there.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so that's our picks for the week. If you want to stick around, we got some funny tweets here. The Battle for the Cajun Crowns tomorrow. So let's read some tweets here. if you have to bust out laughing, it's Mike, I don't think I showed you these. Okay. They got 2 hashtags going on here. The first hashtag is things better than McNeese. And the other one is hashtag ULL is worse than. That's the 2 hashtags we got going on Twitter right here. Going on. This one, if you're from the Lafayette area and listening to this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you're like in Lake Charles, you might even know if you've been in Lake Charles because you might have been to Lafayette and know these places. Okay. The first tweet we got here is at Hardy Stephan. Hashtag things better than McNeese. Going to the keg sober with no shoes. The genetic diversity in Alabama. The Saints defense last season. Oh gosh. Alright, another one by Real Cole World. Okay. Like the KOHL. Like Real Cold World. Okay. Hashtag things better than McNeese. A class on the 5th floor of Griffin.
People, if you've never been to UL, you will never understand that
Yeah.
one. So.
A jaywalking ticket on St. Mary.
This is the first time I'm hearing these folks, so you gotta bear with me.
Having no data and having to use campus Wi-Fi.
That's throwing straight at somebody on this radio.
Yeah, I work in the IT department, so okay, let's see. Alright, I got one more for that hashtag. Hashtag things better than McNeese. Wet socks. Walking a ring into Mordor, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan. LSU's quarterback depth. The sorting hat placing you in Hufflepuff. Okay. Let's see. Alright, let's get this going on the road here. Hashtag ULL is worse than. People who post an entire concert on their Snapchat story. That was by Kid Cuddy _ Hashtag ULL is worse than the thought of Hillary Clinton becoming the President of the United States. At Megan Cooley was that one. Hashtag ULO is worse than that relative that asks about school if you're dating someone and calls you fat every holiday gathering. Hashtag ULO is worse than couples that sit on the same side of the booth. Hashtag, oh God, I know a lot of people that can relate to this one. Hashtag ULL is worse than a Sunday morning after Cowboys.
Wait, what?
A Sunday morning after Cowboys. Okay, that's all we got for him here. If you want to read the rest of them, because some of them I'm not going to say on the radio because they take things way too far on that. It's kind of funny, you know. I read them and it's actually quite hilarious. I love the banter between both these rivals here. So, like, a lot going on here. I already got McNeese tailgating out there, so we'll be there tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to be there for 6 o'clock easily. I'll probably be there before then. Bringing our sign. We have a thing that's not even on one of these because we were laughing earlier before the show about it.
Yeah, and you'll have to wait till tomorrow to know what it is. So.
You're going to have to know what it is. If you, oh my gosh. I don't know if I should even post this on the radio show page, but I probably will because it's such a great idea. Let's do it. All right, that'll be all for the Fishbowl Radio here this week. You can like us on Facebook. Just search Fishbowl Radio, and you'll have us all there. And if you want to check out our Twitter, you can follow us on Twitter at Fishbowl Nation. We even have this episode up here on YouTube. So if you want to have a chance to go listen back and you don't have Spreaker or iHeartRadio on your phone, you can go on your YouTube app and just search Fishbowl Radio Spreaker. I think it should come up easily. If we have a website, go look on there for our specials we got going on there. I'm about to update the website pretty soon. That's coming up one of these days. Yeah, that'll be all. You want to say anything, Mike?
No, I just got enough fun I did. I wanted to go sit you and get off.
Okay. All right. That'll be all for the Fishbowl Radio. So y'all have a great and wonderful weekend. Y'all watch some college football. Stay safe. And y'all enjoy yourselves. Have a great weekend, everybody.